Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Score a 2 for $5 deal on a sausage McMuffin with egg and more. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
We're a few weeks into the new year, and I want to check in. How are those lifestyle resets going? Maybe you're tightening up your exercise routine, finally learning that new skill, or attempting to eat a bit healthier. We all know that starting the year strong is a lot easier and much more delicious when you have the right fuel. That's where Omaha Steaks come in. Stay satisfied, keep your energy up, and fuel your daily routine with premium portion proteins delivered right to your door. Omaha Steaks have been America's original butcher since 1917. We're talking about 5 generations of uncompromising quality, backed by an unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. Their variety is unmatched. From handcrafted USDA-certified tender steaks to gourmet burgers, seafood, and versatile chicken, every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers. Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code T-Bone at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com. Promo code T-Bone. Terms apply. See site for details.
If you're an experienced pet owner, you already know that having a pet is 25% belly rubs, 25% yelling, drop it, and 50% groaning at the bill from every pet visit. Which is why Lemonade Pet Insurance is tailor-made for your pet and can save you up to 90% on vet bills. It can help cover checkups, emergencies, diagnostics, basically all the stuff that makes your bank account get nervous. Claims are filed super easily through the Lemonade app and half get settled instantly. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet and they'll help cover the vet bill for whatever your pet swallowed after you yelled, drop it.
Weather.
Mostly sunny, breezy, and warm today in Wichita. If we can hit 72, it will tie the record high from 1898. South to southwest winds 15 to 25 and gusty. Becoming partly cloudy and mild overnight. Temperature down to 53. Partly cloudy, windy, and warm on Tuesday. A high in the low 70s. Mostly sunny, continued warm and breezy Wednesday. High 70. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
The Wildcats.
3 wide open again, and it's perfect again.
Hit the court.
To the rim, layup good.
Right here.
Yeah. How about these Cats?
Be here every game as the Wildcats pounce the hardwood all season long. On your home for Kansas State Wildcat basketball.
K-State at home in Manhattan hosting Baylor. The Wildcats and the Bears. Live coverage of K-State men's basketball, 7 o'clock Tuesday night on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
Team USA is on a collision course with Team Canada in the men's hockey Olympic Games. The Americans beat Germany on Sunday 5-1. Austin Matthews scored 2 goals for Team USA. It's an impressive win, but Canada is a unit. They're a wagon. The Canadians beat the French 10-2. Tom Wilson fought a dude in the third period. I'm not even mad. It's more funny than anything. They're the bullies on the block. It's going to be an epic showdown when these two teams square off on that day.
It's time to get back to the sports talk.
All right, let's do this thing. Go!
Sports Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily here on a Monday, Reaction Monday. We are joined now by Wichita State head men's basketball coach Paul Mills. Coach, that was a pretty rocking Coke Arena. In a pretty intense, stressful, fun environment on Saturday. That's what it's all about. That was a great win for a great crowd. What were you guys talking about afterward when you were through it? Was the reaction from the guys as fun as it was for the fans, I think?
Well, I thought it was a total team effort, and so I think there were a lot of people in our room who were really, really happy. Everybody contributed. There were, big plays made by a number of people. It just wasn't one. There was a huge segment of the game where we needed Kenyon Giles to score, and he delivered. There was a section of the game where we needed stops. And Karam Boyd was able to provide a block shot there late. We needed to convert some free throw opportunities, not earlier in the game to give us the advantage. We needed physicality. And I just thought that everything that we needed, I've told our players that, what the game demands, good player supply. And I thought that's what was happening. Whenever there was something that was needed, we stepped up. And I don't want to take anything away from Tulsa simply because they're a good basketball team.
They are. Coach, we'll talk about the crowd before we dig in deep into the stats here. Jacob and I were both spectators on Saturday night in that crowd. You've talked a lot about how smart you think Wichita basketball fans are. We made the point for about 5 minutes straight in that second half. It was like one possession game, everybody stands up. One possession game, everybody stands up. And it was almost like trying to will the stop, and it finally happened and got over the hump. Just, the crowd knows kind of what you guys need, and I know you were getting into it as well.
Yeah, they go 1 for 8 down the stretch, and I thought that a lot of that had to do with the environment that our fans provided. And that's what happens during home games is you have a home court advantage, and we haven't, been able to always be on the right side of these games. I know we dropped some this year, but I am happy when our fans are involved and really impacting the game. And you can watch a game, but I thought the people in there were impacting the game. And I thought they had a lot to do with just the defensive presence we had at the end.
There's so much in it. You talked about how many different things happened. Karan Boyd's last 5 minutes of that game, I thought were as wild and impactful as any 5 minute stretch. You guys just didn't have him for a lot of the game. And for him with 4 fouls to come back in and play the way he did down the stretch toward the end, I was blown away by how many different things he did to help you guys win at the end there.
There's an old adage in college basketball that freshmen want to play, sophomores want to start, juniors want awards, but seniors want to win. And I just thought that that's what we saw. We had 2 seniors there on the court, and Emmanuel Okorafor, we're kind of going through a waiver process, and we feel good about him being able to get his year back. But right now, we know we have 2 guys who are going to be out of eligibility in Kenyon Giles and Karan Boyd. And all of that to say, I thought that there was a level of play that not only that I think they set the standard, but I watched our other guys elevate that as well. I thought they raised the entire room. And, Karan defensively, offensively, and as you mentioned, it's hard just to sit over there. And in the first half with 2 fouls, in the second half with 4, and just sit there and kind of watch. And will I get another opportunity? And when he did, those last 5 points, he scores 5 for the game. They just happen to be the last 5 of the game, and we'll take them.
Yeah, just save them all for the end is what he was doing. He's trying to just make you happy at the end of the game. This game, going back to the first time you guys played Tulsa on the road, it kind of felt like it was the same roadmap to the final 10 minutes or so. In that game, Tulsa got it up to, 19 points or whatever. And, it had the makings that if, Wichita State kind of wanted to lay over and let that happen, and, they were starting to make the shots, everything like that. What went different this time around in that final, fourth quarter, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, I thought they answered, again, Miles Barnstable, I know he started out 4 for 4, but he's one of the better shooters in the league. I think that sometimes, I know people don't want to hear this, but this is just fact. 1 second here. This happened last week. My daughter calls me at the same time every day. But I got to warn her on Mondays. But I think what happens is in those scenarios when you find yourself is your defense will bog down because it's just bogged up and mucked up on offense. And you don't want to hear that. Hey, you should defend regardless whether or not you're making shots. I don't care if you're talking NBA. It doesn't happen. Guys get frustrated, and there's a level of maturity, trust me, that we all preach that we can't. But I thought there was an offensive flow. Like, I'm not telling you all the shots were going in, but I knew we were getting quality shots, and I think that helps. That was not the case at Tulsa, and we let our offense impact our defense. And and it wasn't as bogged down. And we were also able to limit those dudes to one shot. We were able to out rebound Tulsa, and there's been 4 times we've been out rebounded this year. One of them, 2 of them in our league. One of them at Tulsa, and then the other night against South Florida. And I just think there was a resolve to ensure that did not happen again.
So, Coach, when we look at that with Kenyon Giles and that game on offense, head coach Paul Mills joining us, he is such a gifted offensive player. It's interesting, I think, from South Florida going into Tulsa, there was a point in the game, and was this him? Did you guys say something to him where I guess when we watch him, it always feels like he feels the burden to score at certain times. Against South Florida, it was a lot of shots. It was, they weren't falling, 4 of 14 from 3. But against Tulsa, 1 of 7 from 3. And then he really started to attack the basket, maybe more than we've seen him attack the basket before. Is that a revelation in his game to anybody? I mean, it probably isn't to you guys, but I don't recall him ever taking that approach when he gets going on offense like that.
Yeah, we had to kind of floor map a little bit better for him. Going back to South Florida, we were way too congested in scoring areas. The spacing just wasn't what it needed to be. And, kind of how teams play us defensively is there's a book out that people are following. And what they're doing is whoever is guarding TJ, simply because he's 1 for 12 on the year from 3-point land. And then you have Dylan Batee, who is 1 for 11. So you have an 8% shooter and a 9% 3-point shooter. So whoever's guarding those guys, they just stand in the paint. And so what happened was we had to change how we were mapping the floor and just give Kenyon a little bit more space. It wasn't anything revolutionary. We just had to move some pieces around, but it provided more 2 opportunities, specifically at the rim. And I'm sure, that somebody, I'm not on social media. I don't, maybe somebody will show you how it was done. But honestly, it was just we had to schematically change how the floor was mapped, and it just provided KG a little bit more room, as well as our other players.
I'm sure if you give it 24 more hours, Taylor Eldridge will have a full film breakdown up. That's my new favorite thing to do watching games, especially as a spectator, is I like to watch all the off-ball screens that Giles runs for a mile until he gets the ball. Makes you feel like Taylor Eldridge up there in the crowd. So all of a sudden, Coach, after the results of the wacky American Conference this year, it's right there back in second place. Did you watch any of the games yesterday? I'm curious how you intake American Conference basketball. Are you just box score watching?
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the games. And, a staff group text, somebody said, hey, so-and-so lost and so-and-so lost. And I was like, I think they're in front of us.
Nobody knows where anybody is anymore. Everybody keeps finding ways to make it weird.
I will tell you, I'm not going to go on my soapbox here, but I will tell you, this is going to be this way for some time, given the current NIL environment. Everybody has new teams. The American is the most poached league in the conference, in college basketball. It has been for 6 years in a row. We get more transfers than anybody. People just so everything's new. And on account of that, you get all of this, 4 losses, 5 losses. The teams that return people, for instance, South Florida, he brought his team over from Arkansas State, several of those guys. Like, the people that can stay together, they're going to be able to navigate some of this. And you need to be playing really good basketball. I'm not saying this as an excuse. What I am telling you is that this is kind of going to be the way moving forward in just college basketball for a number of conferences. You're going to see conference teams with 3, 4, 5 losses. And if you can return some guys that, we've got some scars on us. We've gone through some battles. We understand what it's like. Those teams will probably be able to not have the variance that a lot of other teams have, but this is kind of par for the course. And, I'm glad we're in the hunt.
I had a different question, but you said scars that made me think of this. Was that Will Berg's blood all over him, or was that somebody else's? They were beating the hell out of him in that game, and he stuck in there. I mean, just blood everywhere. Like they were hammering him.
We need to get red jerseys just so we don't have to stop play every time that they beat Will down on the floor and we got to go cover up some blood. But, one of the more impressive stats the other night was he drew 9 fouls and committed 0. And, he's a horse down there, man. That's those are 2 bears down there fighting whoever is engaged with him. And it's fun to watch when you're on the right side of it, but it looks like WWE down there some days.
It does.
It does. Going forward, what we got? East Carolina on the road on Wednesday night. Just kind of, have you started the scout on them? What are they? Won back-to-back, it looks like, against 2 Houston teams, San Antonio and Houston. What's East Carolina look like?
Yeah, they won 4 of their last 6, and I think anytime that you go on a road against a team that's won 4 of their last 6, that really confident they have in one. They have a kid in David Riley who's top 3 if you just start talking about players of the year in the league. Isaiah Nelson at South Florida, David Green at Tulsa, and then I said David Riley, I mean Jordan Riley, and just a phenomenal player. And we were able to do a good job on him here, but as you know, when you defend good players, it's hard and they get 2 in a row. So we'll have to weather that storm. And then they have Giovanni, the big 7-footer, the lefty, he may have 5 pounds on Will, and he's a problem. And then they're playing a lot better. It's at home. This isn't a trip that's right around the corner either. So there's a lot of things that are factoring into play, but they're playing with a lot of confidence.
About 90 seconds left, Coach. I'm going to ask you a question I think I know the answer to. Do you let yourself at all look at, when we talked about those standings, at the bye situation now with the format change of the tournament? Can you afford to look at that now as things are so packed in there in the conference?
Yeah, I'm aware of it. We've actually mentioned it to the team that the top 2 get a bye. We understand it. So we need to find ourselves in the top 2.
There's the goals. Coach, we appreciate it. Wednesday night at East Carolina. We'll talk again next week. Good luck on the road. Stay safe.
Gentlemen, thank you.
There goes Paul Mills, Wichita State head men's basketball coach. We'll come back. We got to talk some KU in the next hour. We'll revisit what's going on with Jerome Tang. It's a jam-packed Reaction Monday. Don't go away.
This is 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, K248CY Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
We're a few weeks into the new year, and I want to check in. How are those lifestyle resets going? Maybe you're tightening up your exercise routine, finally learning that new skill, or attempting to eat a bit healthier. We all know that starting the year strong is a lot easier and much more delicious when you have the right fuel. That's where Omaha Steaks come in. Stay satisfied, keep your energy up, and fuel your daily routine with premium portion proteins delivered right to your door. Omaha Steaks have been America's original butcher since 1917. We're talking about 5 generations of uncompromising quality, backed by an unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. Their variety is unmatched. From handcrafted USDA-certified tender steaks to gourmet burgers, seafood, and versatile chicken, every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand-cut by master butchers. Let Omaha Steaks deliver high-quality proteins right to your door. Visit omahasteaks.com and get an extra $35 off with promo code T-Bone at checkout. That's OMAHA steaks.com. Promo code T-Bone. Terms apply. See site for details.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Some places take you away. Some bring you together. Marathon does both. Marathon is Florida's family key, with something for everyone. You'll find museums and wildlife refuges, wide open beaches, miles of warm, clear water, and the historic 7 Mile Bridge. For more about Marathon, visit flakeys.com/marathon.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.